Welcome to my mess of an office. If you guys are new here, my name is April. I have been a full-time reseller for the last 9 months. But reselling has been part of my life for a long time. Both of my parents are resellers. My mom does eBay and my dad is a dumpster diver and resells stuff on Facebook Marketplace. So it's part of my DNA, essentially. I recently spent about 11 years in Los Angeles being a full-time freelance photographer, and work really slowed down, so I had a side hustle that I started in 2020 selling vintage home decor and furniture, and that transitioned into clothing, which is my main inventory right now. I do cross list on Nifty, which with Depop's new I guess eBay purchased Depop. I don't know if that's gone through yet, but for a while shipping was free. I think it's cheap now. It's pretty cheap still, but it was cheap for the last couple weeks, and sales really picked up there. Poshmark sales are pretty decent. So cross-listing has definitely been worth it. I think I've been cross-listing for about 4 months now. And let's take a look at my sales for the year. Actually, let's look at my sales from when I started in October of last year until now. My total sales before fees is $14,185.79, and after fees and shipping is about $8,723.26. I currently have 374 listings. I am trying to get to 400. Seems like every time I get close, I start doing a lot of sales. And of course, that's just eBay. We can look at Poshmark and Depop. Depop just barely started picking up for me when they started giving free shipping. And then we'll see how it goes now that it's not free anymore. I guess I'll go ahead and pull up my Poshmark. My current sales on Poshmark are $3,281 of all time. Now, I know those numbers are not super high. The only reason I am able to do this full time is because my cost of living is extremely low right now. Like the lowest it'll probably ever be. For the last almost 2 years, I've had almost very little housing expenses. In 2023, the beginning of 2024, I moved out of my artist loft that I was living in Los Angeles. It was just getting too expensive, work was slowing down, and so I chose to take the leap, and I sold all of my things, put some stuff in storage, and had been house sitting for about a year and a half, full-time and traveling. So I had almost no rent for about a year and a half, and then over the last 7 months I've been living with family, so my rent's been about $400, so very low. There's very little I need to make to survive right now. So I am working on getting my own place for the first time in almost 2 years. So right now, this is my room that doubles as my photography eBay studio. So as I mentioned, I was a photographer, so I do have some strobe lights from when I shot video stuff. I was mainly a still photographer, but I did do some video. And so let me show you my setup that I have for my eBay stuff. I am utilizing those skills for my eBay business, which I think comes in quite handy, if I do say so myself. It is a mess right now. My partner is still living in California, and he drove up some stuff that I had at the bins. This whole pile is like stains, stuff I need, but this is the reality. This is how I'm living until I get my own place. And I brought my video lights over. Well, right now I have it set up for the video I'm shooting, but we made this board. It's just a piece of plywood with some canvas, a cheap canvas from Harbor Freight that we stapled on there. We put like a metal bracket inside so we can put some magnets, but we really don't use that. And then I just have a nail at the top. So this is the board. It fit nicely in my car for the drive over from California. Alright, so first I have this light, and I have it pointed toward the ceiling. It like bounced. So I like to explain light as like water coming out of a, what is that called? The hose. So you spray it up at the wall, and it's gonna kind of like rain down, right? So the light's hitting the ceiling, which is white. It's perfect. And it's like kind of raining down, and it's creating kind of just like an overall white. Let me throw something up here. Kind of like, I would call it a fill light is what we call it in photography. So let me throw this dress up. All right, we have a nice even fill light on the garment. I'll show you what it looks like without it. Pretty dark. And that light you're getting is just from that. So nice even fill light. And then I rotate this one and I put it on directly hitting the garment, so that when you're zooming in, you're getting some direct light. It casts like shadows for the texture, and it looks really nice. So that is my lighting setup. So this is what it is. Actually, I'll probably bring that over a little bit. I kind of move it over at night so I don't trip on it. But that is the general lighting setup. And this is what I would do for like product photography when I was a photographer. So ideal setup, 2 lights is my favorite. Anyway, so I listed all this today. I've actually been sitting down for about 25 minutes, and I will photograph, measure, and then work on listings. And then later I will bag it all, put an SKU number, and then I have, well, for now, this has been my inventory storage. These Harbor Freight bags actually work really well. I just stuff it in there. They're all categorized by the SKU number in 2 rows. They actually stacked up pretty well. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 5 bags there. I didn't want to spend money on a storage unit. Like I said, I'm trying to save money. So yeah, so that's my setup today. I also have a bunch of storage in the closet. You know, being a reseller, you're always surrounded by things. So I really hope I'm able to get a place big enough to have storage where I'm not living in my stuff. So I've also had a booth of like Y2K vintage pieces. I put some shorts over the last several months on YouTube of the booths that I've been doing, and that's actually generated decent income. I'd say on average about $150 a week. There are some booths here in Phoenix that I've been looking into renting, but they're on the other side of town. They are opening up one. It's called Ivy Clover or Ivy. I always forget the name of it. I'll have to look it up. But They are opening one. It's like a rent-a-rack store in the Peoria area, which is a little bit closer to me right now. And so I'm gonna wait till they open that at the end of August. They're saying is when it's gonna open. We'll see. But until then, I'm just gonna be collecting stuff for my booth. I'm gonna list it on eBay. If it sells on eBay, great. So I'm gonna work on that stuff today. I have this cute little Y2K top. It's like a fun little print. I think I might have shown another video on it, but this is stuff I'm gonna photograph today. I have this like mesh Y2K top. I have this. These are I'm excited to list. You kind of have to be excited about what you're listing, or you're not gonna do it. In my experience, these are just some little Hollister pink pants, and then I guess this guy. So I'm trying to not spend any inventory, so I'm working on what I have right now. For the last several months, I've been spending about $400 or $500 on new inventory. Try to go to the bins, but it's so hard not to go to the thrift store. I'm sure if you're a reseller, you can relate. So anyway, that's what I'm going to work on today. I'll give you a little peek into that, and I will see you guys next time.